I feel like that's something that's really, really overlooked. So what I ended up doing was I hung 2 cameras there, and in the past 4 days, I've had 4 different bucks over the age of 3.5 show up on those cameras.
Wow.
And I showed Mike the one. I'll send it to you here in a bit, Dan. But
it's a nice one.
He's a stud. So needless to say, I'm going back in there spike camping with the hot tent this weekend, and I'm gonna go up in the mountains with my meat hauling pack and try and kill one on film. But that's what this Whitetail Weekly episode's kind of about, is like scouting a circle. Don't just walk. Never walk the same trail out that you do in, just because that spot.
Absolutely not. I don't even do that while I'm hunting.
Yeah.
Like I won't use the same trail twice.
Yeah, and like just because that spot doesn't pan out, and you can use every tool it is, but ultimately when you get boots on the ground, and it might look just like you thought it would on a map, it might be just as glorious as you thought it was. But if the deer aren't using it, the deer aren't using it. As good as onX maps are, sometimes just the deer just aren't using it. All right, so.
Yeah, they didn't get the memo. That's the area they need to be in, because that's where I'm looking.
Yeah, so scouting in a circle, or the clover leaf method. Go back a different way. If I walk in low, then I'm walking back out high. And you'll find buck sign. If you do that, you will find buck sign somewhere. You'll find where those deer are using, and that's what I done. I ended up hanging 3. I hung 0 cameras on my way out and at the spot, and I hung 3 cameras and ran out of cameras. I would have hung 4 or 5 total, but I ran out of cameras. Ended up hanging 3 cameras on the way back because I scouted in a circle. So that's what this week's episode's about. When you get out way deep, don't get discouraged if it doesn't pan out. Use it. Go back to onX, look at your maps, find an alternate route that you think the deer might be using, and walk it. And whenever you're in October, especially on a heavy mast year, which we'll talk about here later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that after the break, because it's here.
Yeah, and
for sure.
And it's so spotty on years like this. You've got to scout in a circle. So
yeah, it can be like you may have areas that have hit a lot.
Yeah,
and you may have areas that have hit not very much.
Yep, and that's exactly how this place was, and that's why the buck sign is very concentrated in pockets, and everywhere I found buck sign, there was oak.
Yeah,
and there was a lot of oak. It wasn't just like 1 or 2 trees dropping. There was 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
I'm sitting here looking at them Krispy Kreme donuts. Dan knows how I like snacks.
When you looking at the what?
He brought Krispy Kreme donuts in tonight. Are those pumpkin?
Oh no!
Oh God!
No,
You heard the saying, "Don't feed the bear."
Yeah. He said, "Oh God,
do not feed the wildlife."
You know how much that little man eats. You got there in the corner.
Yeah,
Mike's just as bad, and he eats just as often as that little guy.
I don't know about that. Now he sounded like a freaking carp over here.
Yeah, he was hungry.
He was hammering that bottle a while ago.
Yeah, he was hungry.
All right, well, that's a perfect way for us to take a break, so I can go over here and get a donut. So we're going to take a break real quick. Hear a word from our sponsor, and we'll be right back. Dan will do the salute to valor. Do you want durable 100% carbon fiber arrows? Warhead Arrow Company. Warhead Arrow Company is 100% carbon fiber constructed hunting arrows with bone-shattering penetration. Durable, tough, yet reliable when it comes to the moment of truth. Their target arrows are world-class in accuracy and precision, an arrow that target archers can depend on to reach the top of their game. Warhead Arrow Company. Check them out today at warheadarrowco.com. That's Warhead Arrow Company. warheadarrowco.com. All right, guys, we're back.
With donuts.
All right, Dan, hit it.
All right, guys. So tonight, our salute to valor is going to go out to a individual who just recently had passed. So tonight, we're going to salute Lieutenant Colonel First. He was born in June of 1937 in Chicago, Illinois. the late Herbert T. First and Rosa Charlotte First. He retired from the United States Air Force as a lieutenant colonel, having served in the Vietnam War with 4 tours, of which he was awarded the Distinguished Flying Cross. Bill was a member of both the Liberty Cumberland Presbyterian Church and Russell Chapel, and a member of the Lions Club International. Veterans of Foreign Wars, United States Air Force, Jolly Green Rescue, Military Officers of America, Experimental Aircraft Association, and was a Purdue University alumni. So we would like to thank you for your service, sir, and we appreciate it.
Yep. God bless you, Mr. First, and prayers for your family there during this time. And that happened this year. What'd you say, July?
Yeah, I believe it was July. It didn't. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think it was July. So let me give you a little story on that. This is how this come about.
Yeah, July.
So my cousin recently I just got into a new hobby, and we've been collecting estate pipes. And my cousin recently bought me one. He's like, "Do you all sell duck calls or goose calls?" And I was like, "Yeah, we do." I was like, "We've kind of gotten out of doing duck calls because, we really just haven't had a lot of sales for them, and it's just not a lot of hunting for duck in West Virginia. And it seems like every time people order them, I can't spray them because we clear coat those. We don't clear coat any of our other calls, but we do clear coat those about 7 times.
Yeah.
And I can't do it unless it's like, temperatures
Right.
above 55 degrees outside or at fish eyes.
Yeah.
I don't have a spray tank or anything like that. So we've kind of stopped selling duck calls, but we still offer them if people order them special order and stuff like that. So he asked me, he said, "Do you all sell goose calls?" I was like, "Oh, yeah, we sell goose calls." And he sent me a picture of this pipe, and I'm like, "Oh, my gosh, it's got an engraved flying goose on the front of the pipe." And so I started doing a little research on it to see what the history was behind it. It was an estate pipe. His son acquired those after he passed. And then I guess he had maybe given those to somebody else, or he sold them in an estate sale or something. And somebody else acquired it, and then they sold it. So it's went through 3 different people already since he passed. And I'm like, man,
wow.
This is crazy, the history that's behind this. And that's one of the things that I like about that is, like, when you get these estate pipes, you redo them. You refurbish them to where they can be smoked out of again. And, there's just a ton of history behind this. And I think it's like, it's an honor to be able to have this man's pipe and to be able to smoke some, like a good Virginia burley or some Latakia tobacco out of it. I'm just like,
right.
This is nuts. The stuff that this guy went through, because he was a Vietnam vet. Yeah. I mean, he was in Vietnam, I think, right?
Yeah, for four times.
Yeah,
he was
4 times.
Basically lived there for several years.
That's just crazy. So, I mean, it's nuts. And I was like, I sent that out in our live chat, and I was like, man, we got to do this. We got to salute this guy because, we've been looking for different salutes anyways. And sometimes we come across them. Dan come across a bunch of them when he was out there in Missouri. So we had a stash of salutes for like 2 months.
Every bit of it. Yeah, it was kind of nice.
But yeah, I mean, I just think it's it's an honor to be able to have something of that man's, and I thank him for everything that he done for our country. So God bless him and his family.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back into Whitetail Weekly. So coming up, you was talking about what we're doing here recently with this new one. We've got another one that's one of them's already went out on video. We're going to do the audio version of that. We just
go
ahead, Dan.
Have we done one on like hunting mast areas? And I mean, because I know, like we was talking earlier, how much mast is out there this year.
No, I don't think we have, but that would be that'd be a good one to do.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the mast that's hit here in West Virginia this year. West Virginia DNR reported with West Virginia Metro News and WY, I think it's WBOY, They're out of Clarksburg. That the mast has hit really good this year, so hunting's going to be a little hard. Of course, we've talked about EHD. Not seeing as much of it. We may see some people comment and say that it's not, but it's very centralized.
I don't know if it's slowed down yet per se, but I don't know if we're not hearing as much about it. I think
that's a good possibility.
We need to get that frost in soon.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely centralized, I think. It's not spread any further to where it came into West Virginia.
Yeah.
That I have seen anyways.
Right. Yeah, I haven't seen that either.
But I can tell you that I have seen evidence of the mast, and it is large. I mean, there are.
Oh God, I don't know. Like I said, I haven't been home to see what you guys got, but up here in Missouri or in New Jersey, where I'm at in this campground,
yeah,
it's all day long, all night long, while I'm sitting in this camper, just acorns just dropping on top of it. Ping, 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 ping.
Yeah.
I could walk outside right now, take a rake, and I bet I could get a 5-gallon bucket in 30 seconds.
Dang. That's nuts.
So that right there, I've never seen the amount.
That right there tells you that the deer does not have to move much this year.
Oh no, and they're in this little campground I'm at. You can see them just all day long. They're out here eating acorns and just milling around in the field and stuff.
So go ahead and hit on the mast really quick, Caleb, and then I want to ask a question about. I seen a video and a little snippet from the Whitetail Deer Association. We'll talk about that.
Okay. So you want me to just kind of talk about like my tactics on heavy mass years or
Yeah. So what is something that you do during heavy mast years prior to not having? I mean, obviously they move more when there's not enough mass because they got to get out and get the food. And I think cold fronts has a play in the deer movement.
Yeah. So
hit on a little bit of that.
What I look for on a heavy mast year is a lot of walking, right? So go ahead and plan on that. Because
Definitely.
when it's plentiful, it's plentiful. I mean, it is what it is. There's not enough deer in the woods to eat it up. As there is, like this year. I mean, you have a year like this, and a lot of them are going to go bad. A lot of oaks going to go bad. But some things I'm looking for is bedding, and I'm a big guy, big advocate for hunting bedding. And you don't have to know exactly where a deer is bedding. It's really hard, especially when you're talking about a mature buck. I mean, he's got numerous beds, right? But to know the exact spot that deer's bedding is really, really hard to find. However, I can get pretty darn close. Like, I can get an educated guess. So what I'm looking for is oaks that are hitting as close to that bedding or where I think that deer's bedding as possible. So this spot that we were, just talking about on the Whitetail Weekly that I found, I know that it was close to bedding. Those deer kind of bedding actually up on that higher knob and just off of it. It's nothing but open woods, below them. It's kind of thicker on top. It's a pretty big knob, and I know bucks, it's real close to where they're bedding. And sign is the biggest thing. Hot sign is the number one thing that I'm looking for. I'm not looking for rubs that are 3 weeks old, when they lost their velvet. I don't really care about that.
You're looking for scrapes.
I'm looking for scrapes. I'm looking for trees that are snapped. I'm looking for, really green trees that have been rubbed, and a lot of them. I'm looking for a lot of sign, because what that does is that tells me that deer is spending a lot of time, or multiple deer are spending a lot of time in there. So, for instance, and like I said, I've had 4 different bucks, over 3.5 years old show up on that camera. I've had 4 bucks show up in 4 days, and like chances are, I'm pretty close to where they're bedding, and it lays out, and I've walked some of it, bumped a deer or 2 out of there. Like they're bedding pretty close by, and I've got really good access to it. But so I'm looking for oak, super, super close to bedding. I killed a big one. I don't know. It was probably 6 years ago. My first, no, it was probably 7 or 8 years ago. It was my first like real good buck with a bow, on public. and I killed that deer. It was on a heavy mass year, kind of like it is this year. And I found some concentrated sign, and it was really, really thick up on top and on the side of this hill. And I used onX, imagine that, and I found a flat just off the side of that, out from the side of that bedding, and it was the only flat on the mountain, and it was littered in oaks. And
That's one thing I was going to say there when you said thick. During high mast seasons, I think that you'll find deer in more thicker areas.
Yeah, because I mean
they've got the cover that they need.
Yeah.
Plus, they've got the food source right there close by.
A lot of times, people talk about heavy mass year. Everyone talks about the October lull.
Mm-hmm.
That's a myth, in my personal opinion. You can comment. Let us know what you think. If you think otherwise. But big bucks move in the daylight. I don't care how pressured it is. They have to get up. They have to feed. However, that deer might move 5 yards from his bed, or he might move, 500. And the food sources changing, varies, and that's kind of what it depends on. It kind of comes down to this: if you have a fridge full of your favorite foods right there in your kitchen, why in the world are you gonna get in your car and drive an hour to Applebee's or wherever you want to go? Or like, why are you gonna go out of your way to go to some establishment?
Yeah.
Or other respectable restaurant.
If I had a Krispy Kreme right there out by my back door,
yeah,
I don't need to go to South Charleston.
Exactly. And what'd you do right there? So a big buck's the same way, right? Like, big buck's the same way, and not even from the aspect of like, convenience, but also an aspect of safety.
Yeah.
So if I told you, if you went to South Charleston and get a Krispy Kreme, you might get shot. I promise you darn sure are not going to go to South Charleston, are you?
No,
exactly.
Definitely.
Right. So a big buck's the same way. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for oak as close to that bedding area as possible.
Just to let you know, they don't put Krispy Kremes in high crime areas.
No. But from a deer perspective, you get the metaphor. So.
I don't buy that.
Yeah, you don't. Maybe.
No.
Okay, so it's maybe different in bigger cities. Here in West Virginia, I don't think they put Krispy Kremes in high crime areas.
Those Krispy Kremes come from a Speedway gas station.
Hey, there's 15 people touch those.
Still tasted pretty good.
Yeah, it makes me feel real good about eating it. Dan knows how I am about germs.
Goodness. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for oak, really, really close to buck bedding, and I'm looking for a lot of fresh sign, and that's what's telling me that those bucks are in there in the daylight. They're using it, quite a bit, and that's held true, with this. But the thing is, it's really hard to find those spots, and it takes a lot of walking. It takes a lot of time. A lot of times you may not find them till mid-October. It takes a lot of mapping. But ultimately, unfortunately, you just got to put a lot of time on the ground. You can use onX to an extent, and it really gets you close and gives you a good idea. But it all comes back to if you're hunting a mature buck, or if you're hunting a certain a buck that scores 140, 150, 160, whatever you're hunting. You've really just gotta walk until you find the caliber of deer you're wanting to kill. And those don't, those kind of deer in West Virginia just aren't everywhere. So, that's what's taken me a long time, at least this year, is to find a deer of that caliber that I was kind of in his bedroom. And fortunately, I feel like I've got a pretty good chance. And, talked about earlier about, me hunting this weekend. So what we've got going on this weekend, where I'm going to be hunting, it's going to be like 30 degrees on Friday. And you can look.
I'm telling you, the deer is moving.
Yeah.
Every morning on my way to work, I see deer moving.
Yeah.
And not so much coming home. I mean, because the temperatures are lower in the mornings than it is in the evenings now. I mean, I don't know. It was kind of crazy. On the way to church, it was colder than it was when we got out of church at like 8 o'clock. I was like, I think the temperatures went up. But, of course, we were in Charleston. Yeah. It's a lot different here in Cross Lanes.
Yeah. So. Some other things I'm using on years like this, like I stay out of the woods outside of scouting and setting cameras. I do not hunt a lot. When I hunt, I'm there to kill. And hopefully this weekend's a killing type of weekend. But the weather plays a big factor, but also a pressure system pushing in. So we've got a big pressure system pushing in. And fun fact, for those of you that don't know, but you can get on onX and you can hover. If you're an elite member, you can hover over your stand or whatever the case may be, and you can
Look at that service with a smile.
What is it?
Yeah, you got service with a smile with your new cups.
I know, yeah. She was like, "Are you guys doing video?" I was like, "Yep, you're on camera." She brought us our washed cups down here that was in the dishwasher.
But you can go on onX, hover over the spot you're thinking about hunting, and you can click the weather app, and it will tell you the weather and the barometric pressure, and as it changes, and at what times, deer movement's going to be best, and it. onX uses an algorithm that kind of calculates, precipitation, wind, barometric pressure, and all of that stuff. Fun fact.
He loves fun fact.
Yeah,
we need to have a fun fact section.
Yeah, fun fact Fridays or something. So I tested it. I was like, man, I really wonder how accurate this is. It could say there's 1%, chance of a deer moving, and then a giant show up. I mean, it's all just trying to get you to where you're spending time in the woods whenever you have the highest chances. And I hunted one morning. onX said it was going to be really good. I checked the weather. Said movement was going to be really, really good that morning, up until about 11 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And I was hunting that big 10-point. That I was showing you and Dan. I seen 12 deer before 11 o'clock in a place that I normally see 2 a day.
Wow.
I see 12 deer in one morning. I was covered up with deer.
And you said that was during high mast or low mast?
It was this year.
Oh, it was this year.
It was this year on a spot, and onX, I done the weather app.
Dang.
I use their the weather because I'm an elite member, and I checked the weather and was like, well, onX says it's going to be really good this morning, so I'm going to go hunt this morning. And I literally seen every deer on that mountain except for the one that I was trying to kill, which it's part of it. I mean,
So let me ask you this: have you paid attention while you're in the woods? You may not be a moon hunter, but have you paid attention to the days that you're in the woods and you can actually see the moon during the day?
A little bit. So I'm not a big fan.
You're not a big fan of the lunar phases?
No. I personally, I'm not. I think the impact it has is very, very minimal compared to. I think the overall driving factor is temperature, and then barometric pressure.
What do you think, Dan?
I would definitely go with barometric pressures.
Yeah.
That I've noticed better results by going with the barometrics.
Yeah, I've been reading more about the barometric pressures and it being a big contributor to that, the deer movement. But I've always been a lunar phase hunter. I mean, if I get up in the mornings and I'm on my and it's usually when I'm on my way to work, I get up in the mornings and I'm like, oh man, the moon is out right now still.
Yeah,
I need to be in the woods, and that's how I've hunted, and it's been.
I mean, I get that too. You know what
I mean.
I would agree with that. You seeing it, you're like, oh man, that's perfect. I should be sick right now and calling off and doing that and not working.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, I think that my brother hunted a lot by the moon phases, and he was very successful when it come to deer hunting. Not so much. It's funny because we talk about this stuff during deer hunting and deer season, but it doesn't seem like turkeys are that kind of like ritual oriented when it comes to the way that they move. And so right before you started talking about this, I was talking about the whitetail association, deer hunting, or the deer hunting association thing. So I seen a video the other day that said that deer is not territorial. What do you think about that? Both of you all.
Am I allowed to cuss on this podcast? Probably not.
Yeah, because that's bullshit.
I mean, I don't know about that. I mean,
I've seen that, and my first thought was, what in the world is this guy talking about?
Well, here's the thing.
He says that they're only territorial during the rut, and any other time they don't care where they're at.
So I can kind of get behind that, but not all the way.
Yeah.
Because my example was going to be, if me and Dan allegedly have the same girlfriend, well, when I see Dan in person, if I'm not territorial, I'm not going to punch him in the face. But so I mean, and how many times have you seen two bucks lock up? I mean, it's a thing. Now,
right.
mind you, that's over a doe, right? So like territorial can be a pretty broad subject.
Well, I mean,
right? Are we talking about land, or are we talking about does?
We talk all the time about the bachelor groups, bucks that get together before the actual rut.
Yeah, yeah.
They hang out, and they're picking out their pick.
Yeah.
Well, they're creating a pecking order.
Yeah, they are.
Well, I think, I mean, that's a great example. And, also, a lot of big bucks are very solitary. Now, I'm not saying that, a 200-inch deer won't summer with, a couple 3-year-olds, but every buck's personality is different. I've seen bucks spot trail cameras and just keep walking and not care, and I've seen bucks spot trail cameras and you'll never get another picture of them. Mm-hmm. And then you set a camera up, facing the opposite direction, you get a picture of them. I've literally done that and seen that. So every deer's a little different. And I, maybe that's something, I might need to get some trail camera footage kind of explaining that, but that would be a great Whitetail Weekly to kind of, talk about.
Oh, yeah.
One of the first ones, I think me and Luke Humphrey's done, we talked about trail camera placement and
mm-hmm.
I never put a trail camera low.
Yep.
I never put a trail camera low.
Yeah.
One for bears, but two, so it's out of plain sight of the deer.
Well, we have a lot of theft.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. So, but yeah,
I like to say theft and meth.
Yeah, there's a lot of both of those. Neither are good.
Neither are good. Go back to the old saying: drugs are bad.
Yeah. LT told us best. And this, kids, is why you don't do drugs.
That's right. That's right. Man, that's crazy. Back in the day. All right. Well, Dan, you got anything else to add this evening? When you coming back in, you said?
Probably about 2 weeks, it's looking like, maybe. I don't know. 2
weeks. So you'll be back around the first part of November. So.
No. Yeah, possibly.
You definitely got to be off during gun season. I mean, come on.
Oh, I'm sick that whole week.
Yeah. Right.
We're usually off anyhow for what I do.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've missed a gun season.
No, I try not to myself. Even if it's just if it's just the first day, I try not to miss the first day. I mean, I may not be able to go the whole week, but I'm definitely not missing the first day.
I'm burning all kinds of leaves.
I ain't even got a camera up the house yet.
I know. Next time you're in, we got to get something up before gun season. We got plenty of stuff to put out.
Oh, yeah. I put new batteries in all of them.
Yeah.
I just never put them up.
I hear you. All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening this evening. Appreciate you watching our new live there on YouTube. Be sure to share it. We're trying to get that out for everyone to see. And be sure to check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Amazon Music, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Yeah, don't forget to check out naturesvoicegamecalls.com, too. Time to get your buck grunt tubes.
There you go.
Podcast 15 at checkout for 15% off your entire order.
Yes. Nice. All right, guys. Dan, sure appreciate you this evening. Caleb, thanks for what you've done this evening.
Always. Yes, sir.
And thanks for watching, everybody. Everybody have a great evening. We'll talk to you next week. Ready for your next adventure. Longer days, warmer water, and brighter skies. There's no better time to hit the water and chase a little coastal magic. Whether you're booking a fishing charter, a sunset cruise, or just want to float and breathe. Coastal Marsh has got your summer adventure waiting. Departing daily from Little River, contact Captain Chris today at 304-807-7577 or book via email at chris@coastalmarshcharters.com. Let's make this summer one for the books.